Hello, and welcome to this, which is Satisfactory. If you can't read the title, I don't know why I always do that, but hey, here we are. This is what can essentially be listed as a 3D Factorio style game. You build a factory, automate the factory, optimize the factory, etc., etc. Just went into early access today. There's been like playtest weekends and stuff, so you've probably already seen it, but it's in early access right now, and it's real good. I'm a bit in, as you'll see momentarily, but I'm a bit in. It's a very pretty game. Hopefully the recording turns out alright, but I got some stuff and I wanted to basically redo my base, because, you know, when you start off, you're just putting shit where you can, and until you unlock the tech that lets you do stuff more efficiently and whatnot, because that's how the game works, is a tech system, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But there's basically an unlock tree. But anyway, I'll have a longer video and more details and stuff on it at some point, but I wanted to show you the progress of what I've been doing. So you can very much get the gist of where it gets the 3D Factorio thing from. So this is all in progress because I'm redoing my base to make sure it's running theoretically as good as it can with the resources that I have, which I'll show momentarily. But this is the iron side. All the iron stuff is over here, which is the majority of what I will need. So it has the most input. As you can see, it's got 3 separate lines of ingot smelting going on over here. Whereas the copper, which is currently in wire form, but it won't be in wire form forever, but the copper, and I'm gonna get platforms, I'll show you those in a second, so that I can actually fucking navigate this place a little bit less haphazardly. But the copper's only got 1 ingot line being smelted over here. We'll talk about the other lines in a second, but it's got the 1 ingot line coming out. It splits off into all this stuff, which turns it into wire, which splits off into 2 lines of wire. And the reason this is all splitting off in the manner that it is, ignore the copper's inefficient. But the reason it's splitting off the way it is because if we look at the conveyor belt Mark 1, which is what I'm using because it's cheap, it can transport 60 resources per minute. Mark 2 is 120, Mark 3 is 270. Don't know if there's a Mark 4 and 5, but if there is, it goes up real fucking high, because 270 is already a lot. But these can only transport 60 per minute, so the ingot output over here, the single line ingot output, or this triple line ingot output, is because those lines are only 60 per minute, so that's 180 ingots per minute, so I have to split that over 3 lines. Another nice thing about this, the ladders. The ladders on everything. They are climbable ladders. Every single ladder in this game, including the ladders on these stackable conveyor belts, which are very nice, by the way. I love these conveyor belts, but those are climbable as well, so you can get up on all sorts of stuff really easy. But this is my setup. It's not done. Obviously, you can see the copper line's got a whole bunch of empty space, and it's just kind of sitting here. And then when this stuff gets, you know, pumped out into plates and rods and stuff like that, it just stops over here. And then this line right here, underneath copper, because I only need 2 lines of copper, you can stack this infinitely, as far as I'm aware. Let's actually find out how high this goes. Alright, for all intents and purposes, you can stack that infinitely. You can go high enough that it doesn't really matter how high those can stack, so if you want to go crazy like that. But this is cement. It's just for building platforms and stuff like that. You don't need a lot of it. In fact, this single line of it is probably too much anyway, but it's only one thing printing it out, so. And it's got 2 lines because the mines for that stuff, there's one right there and then one way over there. Those are on impure rocks, so they're only 30 per second. So they merge into one line, it makes 60. Or 30 per minute, sorry. Anyway, there's the copper mine. These 3 right here are my iron mines, and then this is my little base outpost here, where this is where you start. It's real shitty when you start, it's basic. But you unlock hub upgrades, which is this thing here, tier 0, you basically give it resources, and for these tiers it's relatively few resources. And you'll start unlocking a whole bunch of stuff to work with. Biomass, you know, miners right there, so you can start getting more resources. That sounds late. I mean, it is pretty late to get miners at that point, but it's pretty hard to efficiently use miners before then anyway, so. There's also a research thing. Again, I'll have longer videos where I actually, you know, play through the game and stuff, but...
Paleodictyoptera berries, or pale berries, can be added to the Object Scanner catalog after unlocking the new blueprint in Hub Tier 1.
There you go. Object Scanner berry. I don't have an object scanner, so that's irrelevant, but... there it is, if I felt like making it. Takes beacons. Anyway. But this is what I'm running here. The goal is to basically just make a huge factory and then... I can get out of this mess I've made. Make a huge factory and then build and upgrade the space elevator, which I had built prior. That's actually what this box there is. I deconstructed it. That's all the resources. So it's huge. And in fact, let's go ahead and show that off. Because I mean, I have the resources for it. It's all just sitting in this box here. I don't know what that X was, but that was an X. We'll just grab a bunch of this. Should be enough. Because I actually think this is a really cool looking structure. We're going to deconstruct it anyway, so I don't care where I build it, but this is how stuff gets built. It takes a while to build, so, you know, you vomit up resources for a while, which is kind of cool looking. And I'm not going to showcase the animation for upgrading it. I'd already done that once. I don't know. I guess we'll find out if it keeps the upgrade, but it has a pretty cool... there's the top of it, by the way. It has a pretty cool animation for when you send supplies up as well, which is essentially what you're doing. You put supplies in this thing. It's got conveyor entry points, so you can technically automate this whole process. I'm not entirely sure what resources it needs, but you can automate the whole process, and it's pretty neat. Anyway, that's the space, what's it called? I forgot. I can't see it anywhere. It's a space tower, space thingy. I forgot what it's called, but that's what it is. We're gonna deconstruct that. It's gonna drop another crate over there for better or worse, but... and then way over here, this is actually where my power is coming from now, because this is why I'm redoing my base. I unlocked coal power. It took quite a while to get here, and it requires a upgrade on that thingy that I just deconstructed over there. But it takes a while to get here. But it is extremely good because these provide 50 megawatts each as opposed to 20 on the biomass that you have to use prior to this. And they can be fully automated via coal, and coal is mined with a miner, and the miner is powered by this, which is powered by coal. Currently the resources are infinite, so it doesn't actually matter. And I can power off of one coal mine. This is the crazy part. One coal mine way over there. I don't think you can see it, but it's over there. That's why the power lines are going that way, and the coal, as you can see. One coal mine can power 10.8 unmodified coal generators, which is crazy. Because well, I mean, I need better conveyor belts to do that, but the coal mine outputs 120 a minute. These take 5.4 seconds to use one coal, so it's a pretty crazy output. So 3 of these is 150 megawatts. That's a lot of base that they can power. I forgot there's emotes. Emotes. Hooray. Anyway, I just wanted to show this game. It's really, really good. There's no story implemented. Supposedly there will be. It's not on me, but I have an item that says work in progress on it, and it's supposedly a story-oriented item. It doesn't currently do anything. It talks to you. It's a rock that talks to you. It's rather weird, but you know, it's a great game. I'm pretty happy with this. So there'll be probably some streams of this, some casual streams where just build a base and stuff like that. Well, neat. Or videos where I showcase extraordinarily silly bases or things that you can build with it. Before I end, actually, may as well show off the rest. Here's the foundations. You can build stairs, ramps. Get around all sorts of walls. The walls are really neat because they have these conveyor walls which snap to foundations, and then as you can see they have little conveyor points on them, so it makes it really nice to organize your conveyors. So you use those walls a lot, and then they have these as well. You can run your conveyors parallel along the wall, which is really nice. Very happy with those. And here's the walkways that I'm going to eventually build around this place, but once I build up, you can see essentially how they function. You know. So it would give me a really easy way to navigate over the top of all of this mess, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to get around my base. So I'll have that set up eventually. And then I've also recently unlocked vehicles, including a truck station, which I don't have the resources to build, and a tractor. And supposedly, you can automate the trucks via AI. So I can't build this, but you would set up one of these wherever you want the trucks to deposit or pick up, or both, preferably. And you can see it's got inputs and outputs. So you can have huge, like, long distance transfer via trucks between different bases instead of using conveyor belts. They pick up, I thought it wasn't very much at first, but it's 120 stacks per minute. So, and a stack depends on the item. For instance, a stack of these wires is actually 500 wires. So 120 stacks of those per minute is a lot of wires. So that's probably how you would, you know, do crazy long range stuff when your base is huge and whatnot. More likely what would happen is eventually you would have setups like this where you turn your resources into the basic items, you know, rods, plates, wires, concrete, and then you would just mass transport all of that to a central base where you then construct the crazier, more expensive items and stuff like that. So that's a late game thing, I imagine, but it's pretty cool. It's definitely very much like Factorio, so if you like Factorio, you'll like this. It is 3D, so, you know, complications from being in 3D and all that, but it also opens up things because it's in 3D, like these stacked conveyor belts and whatnot. It's pretty neat. Of course, early access, you know, unfinished, etc., etc. You guys know the drill with early access, so it's also on the Epic Games launcher. Take that as you will. But anyway, that's a little video. That's all I've got for now. Gotta get back to building the rest of this nonsense. Probably stream at some point. But anyway, thanks for watching.